गुड मॉर्निंग, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। इस वक्त मैं सलेंतो कोलंबिया में हूँ और यहाँ पूरा इलाका जो है वो कॉफ़ी फार्म बहुत है यहाँ। तो मैं यहाँ आया था एक विज़िट करने कॉफ़ी फार्म का। तो अभी मैं वो आएंगे टूर, वो कॉफ़ी फार्म मुझे सब दिखाएगी या दिखाएंगे। 9 o'clock पे अभी आधा घंटा है। ये दिख रहा है अभी फार्म यहाँ है। ये इस तरह ये कॉफ़ी होती है। ये जब रेड हो जाती है तो इसके अंदर बीज होता है। सब कॉफ़ी का फार्म।
Yeah, come a little bit closer, have a look. So you've got the white flowers, they last 5-10 days. The flowers die off, you get little buds, bigger, and they become coffee cherries like this. So this slope, this particular branch is a good branch to take a photograph of. That's why I haven't picked that red one there. Okay? I'm picking all the others in preference to that. But it's pretty much a continuous process. You can see all of the different stages. You can see there's a lot of white flowers. This is going to be next July's harvest, which is when we shouldn't really be picking coffee. But anyway, right. I'm just going to go in here and grab a couple of red coffee cherries. I've been looking all over the place for coffee cherries, and I found some at the back here. Okay, now, come down and have a look. That is a coffee cherry, okay? Now, at this point in time, that doesn't really look like coffee, does it? You wouldn't look at that and go, wow, coffee, okay? Now, watch what happens. If you take the coffee cherry and you give it a little squeeze, 2 coffee beans inside. There you go, okay? Starting to look more like coffee now, isn't it? Okay. Now, 95% of the time you get 2 beans inside. Yeah. 4% of the time you just get 1 bean, and 1% of the time you get 3. Now, I did a coffee tour the other day, and I opened 1 coffee cherry, and there were 3. I'm like, wow, that's not very common. Opened the next one, and there was 1. And then opened the last one and there was 2. So I said ignore those ones over there, we'll talk about those. But anyway, right. So this is what you pick. Now there are varietals of coffee that produce red coffee cherries. There's varietals that produce yellow. Wikipedia tells me there's orange and pink. But I've never seen orange or pink. But hell, if it's on the internet, it must be true, right? Everything on the internet is always true. Okay? Right, now, do you see how wet and slimy those beans are? Yeah, okay. Now that slime is a form of sugar. It's one of the billions of forms of sugar, and this is where things get a little bit more interesting. Because once you have a coffee, you can go down. They'll all give you coffee to drink, but they give you different looking coffee and a different tasting coffee, okay? Now, Colombia, number 3 in the world. If you remember, we're in Brazil, then we're in Vietnam, then we're in Colombia. Colombia's number 3 in the world. Colombia is the world's biggest producer of what we call washed Arabica coffee. And washed Arabica coffee for a long time has been considered the purest form of coffee. Okay, so what you do, you pick these red coffee cherries like this. Now you pick them when they're lovely deep burgundy colour like this. You pick the reds or the yellows or whatever colour coffee you've actually got. You pick it when it's ripe. You take that skin off the coffee. Now this skin is called cascara. That's the Spanish name for it. Once you sort of like couple of things you can do with the cascara. Okay, you can throw them away. They're a really good source of nutrients, so we'll feed the coffee. But the other things you can do is you can dry them in an oven or dry them in the air. It takes longer, and then you can make an aromatic tea out of it. They call that cascara as well. I personally don't like it. It's a bit insipid for me. But there are are people that love their casserole, okay? So it's becoming increasingly popular, particularly in Europe, beans or lentils or rice, okay? Now, what happens, you end up, okay, the water, osmosis pulls the sugar out of the coffee into the water. The water goes horrible brown gungy colour. They call it meal honey. And you soak them for 18 to 36 hours. All the sugar comes out of the coffee. And then you put them in the sun to dry and you dry them. And that gives you what we call washed Arabica coffee. And like I was saying, Colombia is the world's biggest producer of washed Arabica coffee. And washed Arabica coffee is considered by a lot of experts to be the purest form of coffee. Okay? That's one process. Is washing coffee. Second thing you do, you take that red skin off the coffee, you take these and you just put these straight in the sun to dry. Now what happens is they ferment in the air, they give you different looking coffee, different tasting coffee. This is how you would pick the coffee, you see. Actually you would lasso the top of the tree, pull it down like this and pick the coffee, but I can't do that. Okay, so I'm just pulling it down so you can demonstrate, and then you take the coffee cherries, off. Okay? Like this guy here. This one's over 100 years old, or around 100 years old. Okay? Right, so here's your 2 beans inside. We'll take a chance. See if we get 2 baby coffee plants. I think the ants will probably come and eat them, but anyway. You can see, once again, you got the white flowers. These guys haven't opened yet, but yeah, there's all the white flowers on here. Once again, this one's going to be way behind the normal process for the coffee, because it shouldn't be. I say these guys haven't even opened. These guys are going next August's harvest, which is crazy. Okay. Right. So as I say, we have got this guy is from the days when plantation was a coffee plantation, and typically when I pick this coffee, this goes into the ground to grow rather than turn into coffee to drink. Okay. Right. So what we're going to do is head down to the farm. I need to get my jacket. Throw a couple of these inside. Now see, let's come through. Go check out the view. This is the all the people down here, they all have tourist businesses. They like the idea of tourists being able to drive down, not walking. Ollie, you're being a very good Ollie, mate. I have to say that. Look, someone saying, what colour? I bought that. Molly, get out of the way. So he doesn't annoy the chickens. Yeah. Okay, so what you do, you take your parchment coffee, you throw it into the sand, like this guy here, yeah? Out of one end a little root system comes, coffee bean goes up like a loaf, coffee bean goes up and you get this coffee bean on a stick with okay, right, now that's called a match because it looks like a match, yeah? Right, so once you've got a match, the parchment protects it like a cocoon. Inside the green bean and that silver skin change into two lovely big leaves. Then the parchment comes off like a cocoon and your caterpillar becomes a butterfly and the two leaves open out and you've got a baby coffee plant, okay? So you see these guys, this guy hasn't opened yet. This guy here, do you see him? You can see the skin about to come off. So if you take some of the skin off, doesn't want to come off, so I'll leave him. But what happens then is you get your two leaves. These two leaves unfurl, open out, and you've got a baby coffee plant. Yeah. Now usually when they get to a little green tip in the middle here, that's when you can move them up the chain. You can put them in a bag to grow. Okay.
ये कॉफ़ी लगी हुई है इसमें, फार्म इस तरह की होती है।
It is more yellow than this coffee here, okay? This coffee is drier, okay? Now this coffee here is Geisha Coffee, okay? This coffee here has come from up in Plantation House. It's come from that field of coffee. This is the son and daughters of the 100-year-old guy, yeah, okay? Okay, this is the coffee we were looking at. This coffee, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is all coffee from the farm. Okay, from the farm down here. Now, this farm has 4 types of coffee, 2 traditional, 2 modern. Or if you prefer, 3 red, 1 yellow. But it has 4 types of coffee, okay? Now, this has all come from up in Plantation, okay? Now, this coffee here is washed coffee, okay? That coffee at the end there is honey processed coffee, okay? So you'll be able to have a cup of washed and a cup of honey processed, both of which have come from there. See if you can taste the difference. Okay? Now the coffee.
टूर ग्रुप में जो ये शाह हैं सारे ये जर्मन हैं। ये देखें ये पीछे सारा कॉफ़ी फार्म। ये अब हम फार्म से घूम के आ गए, वहाँ से वो फ्रेश कॉफ़ी लाया है अपनी फार्म की, जो टूर करा रहा है उसी का फार्म है। अब वो यहाँ फ्रेश कॉफ़ी निकालेगा और फिर पियेंगे हम लोग फ्रेश कॉफ़ी। चलें देखते हैं फिर।
Once again, nothing much exciting is going to happen for the first few minutes. Just keep the coffee moving around. Commercially, they roast coffee in a drum where the coffee is tumbling, or in a pot with a big mechanical stirrer to keep the coffee moving around. You need to keep the coffee moving so it cooks evenly. Okay? Right, so just keep the coffee moving around. Now, as I say, these beans have come direct from the farm, so there's all different sized beans in there. So basically that means it's going to cook a little bit uneven. But as you get further into it, it starts to even out. Okay? So I'm going to take out the odd bean that I see that is bad. That's why I've got the two lights on here. So I can backlight it so I can see clearly in the open air and everything like that. I looked at it and went, how the hell did you do that? That's fantastic. That's an amazing roast. They said, let's get the oven gloves out. Pan's a bit too hot to touch. Gotta love this, look at this. All left-handed gloves. I bought 4 pairs of gloves. Okay. So there you go. You see it's not quite as dark as you thought it would be. Alright, and we'll move the coffee beans around a little bit. Take off all the chaff. You need to come out with your bad. Right. Plus a coffee farmer who doesn't drink his own coffee. I better have a bit of coffee first of all. That's okay. So we'll do the 2 ladies first. Right, this coffee is rather hot at the moment. You need to let the coffee cool just a little bit till it gets to sort of like gets a bit easier to drink. Right, so now we'll get the other guys. But thank you all for doing the tour. I really hope it's made some sense. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've had got a feel for just how much work goes into your cup of coffee. It's quite a bit of work goes in. If you've enjoyed it, tell everyone else. If you haven't enjoyed it, tell me. But hopefully everyone has had, you've found it a little bit interesting.
Thank you.
Different. Okay. My friend loves serving green beans. Everyone was serving green beans. One of the biggest.
ये अब मैं फ्रेश कॉफ़ी उसने निकाली है कोलंबिया के कॉफ़ी फार्म में कॉफ़ी पी रहे हैं पीछे वो गधा खड़ा है
Any final questions, folks?